and our power is going to be 2 because we moved the decimal 2 times. And the reason why it's a positive 2 is because we had a number bigger than 1. Okay, for this second problem, we look at the number, we see that the number is 0.034. 0.034 again is in between 0 and 1, so therefore we know it's going to be always negative. The exponent is going to be negative. Okay? So I'm looking for the first number, first non-zero number, that will be in between the 3 and the 4. That's where I'm going to place my decimal. Now I need to see how did I get there. I moved the decimal place 1, 2 spaces over, and I ended up with 3.4 times 10 to the negative 2 power. Now, just a little check to make sure everything's right. I know that 3 is in between, is greater than 1, and it's also less than 10. So that's a correct scientific notation. Okay? And over here also 2.37 is greater than 1 and also less than 10.
And you will do problems 3 and 4 on your own, and if you have questions, you can ask us in the morning. Okay? Now, if you flip over to the back on your notes, you'll be converting from scientific notation to standard notation. There are also steps to take, but in the reverse. Now here, we have it as a decimal and times the power. So what you have to do now is, since it's a positive exponent, you're going to move the decimal in the direction that would make the number bigger. Move the decimal the same amount of times as the exponent. For example, if the exponent is 5, you move the decimal 5 places. So here, the exponent is 5, so you're going to move the decimal 5 places. Now, if you have a number line, right, and we have 0 here, and we have -1, -2, +1, +2. If I'm starting at 0 here, and I want to get bigger, I would move this direction towards the right. I would move to the right to get bigger. If I want to get smaller, I would move this direction here towards the left. We all know that. So right here, when I'm moving to make this number bigger, because if I have a positive exponent, I want to make that number bigger. Because if I have a positive exponent, I make the number bigger. So here, I want to go to bigger, I go this way, and I move it 5 places. So that means if I have 6.42, I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these extra places here is where you fill in the zeros, and then you put the decimal at the end. You take this decimal away, you rewrite the number 642,000 with your decimal at the end, and that's how we end up with that number right there. Okay, so whatever the decimal is, that's how many whatever the exponent is, that's how many places you move that decimal. Total of 5, and you move it in the direction to get bigger, and you know on a number line you go to the right to get bigger. All right, now if you have a negative exponent, you move the decimal in the direction that would make the number smaller. You move the decimal the same amount of times as the exponent. If you have the exponent of 2, you move the decimal 2 places. So here the exponent is a -2, so you move the decimal 2 places in the direction that would make that number smaller. So any number you want to get smaller, again, we showed the number line. Here's 0, -1, -2, +1, +2. If I want to go smaller, I'm going this direction. So I start here. If I have 5.9 and I want to go smaller, I'm going to go this direction, 1 and 2. That's going to be my new decimal, and I fill a 0 in. So my number ends up as being 0.04. 0.059, and that's the number that they had. You can put the 0 in front if you want. Now remember, that's ran out of space. Those are two different numbers, right? Same number, but different. Okay, so 0.059 is what you end up with, because remember, you're moving to the left 2 spaces. If you have any questions on this, you can ask tomorrow in class. You're going to do some practice. We'll do some together here, and then you'll do the 3 and 4 on your own.
All right. So you're looking at problem number 1. You see that you have 3.7 times 10 to the 4th power. Because it says the 4th power and it's a positive number, you know that you need to make this number bigger. That 3.7 needs to be made bigger. And we already reviewed that with the number line. In order to make a number bigger, we move to the right. We're moving the decimal to the right. And we're going 4 spaces to the right. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces to the right. We fill in gaps with 0. And we end up with 37,000. Okay? And we look at problem number 2. We see that it's 4.9 times 10 to the negative 2nd power. Because it's a negative exponent, we know that our number is going to be getting smaller. So we take 4.91, and in order to make a number smaller, we go to the left and move 2 spaces to the left. 1, 2. Fill in our zeros, we write our number. Okay.
And you'll do 3 and 4 on your own. If you have any questions, ask us in the morning, and we'll take care.